Hello, interactions. Just one quick experiment, just as you've seen before. As you notice, I got 3 types of water in front of me. You probably could see the steam coming off this one, but they're all different temperatures. I got cold, room temperature, and very warm. I probably should not touch that one. And what we're going to do is that we're going to take one food dye.
Actually, this one.
Okay. Forgive me, this is my lab assistant. My sister is actually helping me out with this one, but she's camera shy, so she's not actually going to appear on camera. And what we're going to do is that we're actually going to go ahead, I'm going to take several things as I go ahead and do this. Number one, I'm going to actually be putting the dye into each. And I'm first going to measure the temperature, just to go ahead and demonstrate, how temperature makes a difference in how the dye spreads out. And we're going to see the laws of thermodynamics take place as we actually go through this. And you'll see that there's a huge difference among each of them. The second thing is I'm going to actually take the time it takes to go ahead and have everything fully spread out. Go. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and start by taking off the temperatures of each. So here we go. Turning the thermometer on. We're going to start off with the cold water. Okay, it looks like it is stable, and it looks like it's going to be 2.7. So you can see it's a 2.7. We're going to go ahead and leave that there. So that's the temperature of the first one. It's 2.7. Here, take this. I don't want to accidentally break your stuff, because I've done that before. Here we go. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is the room temperature water right here. And then go ahead. Notice I'm not touching the edges of the beaker, as per recommendations of my lab assistant. And we're just waiting for it to stabilize. And you see right there, it's 24.8 or 24.9. So that's the temperature I get. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last one. And this is my boiling hot water. It's been actually on the hot plate. It was boiling for a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Wait till it stabilizes.
So the temperature of the last one is 75.54. That's kind of what I got. So I'm going to just put it 75.5 as you have it right now, so you can see that. So that's the and that's in Celsius. So 75.5. That's the temperature of the last one. All right. So we're going to start off by putting one singular drop of dye into each. Now that we've taken the temperatures, we have an idea of the molecules inside. We also have an idea of how warm they are and how they're going to feel to each of us. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take our dye, we're going to take just one drop, and I'm going to record the time it takes for that drop to go all the way through. So here we go. So I'm going to start the timer as soon as we get one drop of dye, just to go ahead. One mustard, thank you, my lab assistant. Here we go. And I'm going to start the timer as soon as we get one drop of dye in, and we're timing it until it spreads out completely. 3, 2, 1. There we go. And you can see, let's see if we can go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and give you a 360 view of what's happening there. Most of the dye is actually staying at the top right now. We're just kind of looking for it to kind of spread out, hit the bottom. And you can see that first drop going. We're at 31 seconds. Okay, so that's actually the dye spreading throughout the entire thing. So that'll be 5 minutes and 37 seconds. And you can see that actually took quite a while. We've actually been here time-lapsing and having very odd conversations. But that's very cold water. And remember, this temperature was at like it was at nearly 5 degrees Celsius. So here's a room temperature water, and if you do remember, this is actually somewhat a very, very comfortable. Let's go ahead and take the temperature again.
425.
It's like about, in this cup, it's about 20. It's a comfortable 28 Celsius, which is actually not bad. It's pretty just warming up due to the environment. We're gonna go ahead and take the temperature, and again, we're going to take the time. So I'm gonna go ahead, reset the timer. And we're gonna see how long it takes the dye to spread out through this one. And you can see the spread of the dye actually, as everything flows throughout. It's actually a lot faster than our ice water, but most of it still does sink to the bottom. However, it hit the bottom much faster. Just to demonstrate, you can see all the currents and eddies going through. That's kind of the magic of this. As you can see, it's pretty much maybe a bit dyed right now. We're going to go ahead and leave it a little bit, just trying to see if we can get this corner here. See, it's not quite dyed. Okay, and I think that's it. And as you can see, this took a little over a minute, so that's actually not bad for a glass that's actually been room temperature. So this is the hot glass of water. It's kind of the last one we're going to do. As you can see, it's really warm right now. It's still, I'm just going to go ahead and take the temperature again just to maintain everything. But you can see it's going to be near 75 again. Okay. Yeah, and once again, it's 75. So we're going to go ahead and move on here. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to put 1 drop of water, and we're going to go ahead and see what happens to it, okay?
Let it touch the top.
So it has to be like this, right?
No, let it touch the top, so drop it like in the water.
Oh, okay. Got it. Alright, there we go. Time has started. And you can see the spread is going very quickly. And you can even trace out this stirring that's happening. We're at 18 seconds and already you can see it's actually gone through most of the water here. And everything's a light reddish, as you can see. So that took about a minute and, well, actually that took about exactly a minute. So you can see how temperature makes a huge difference. We had this one which took almost 7 minutes, and then after this one, which took just about that much less of the time. So as you can see here, we have all 3 in front of us. We have cold, room temperature, and hot. And as you can also see, the time difference that it took to get all 3 of these fully dyed was a lot. You notice cold took a very long time, room temperature, a moderate amount of time, and then hot, basically almost no time at all. It's spread out pretty evenly. Now, probably there are a few factors that are notwithstanding here, but for the most part, you can see the role that temperature plays in dispersion and how that actually may affect things. On the molecular scale is what you need to start thinking about, though. What is the energies on the molecular scale that allow the dye to spread so dramatically? And what does temperature have to do with all 3 of them? Hopefully you guys can go ahead and reason it out in the questions below. If you have any questions, you can ask me. But other than that, that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this experiment, and we'll see you next time.